YouTube, BigH Trucking, sitting at Love's parking lot in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Actually, next door is the Petro. Why I came here, I don't know. I'm becoming addicted to Love's. But thanks everyone who subscribed and liked my channel. Appreciate that. I got a delivery tomorrow in my favorite state in the Union, or the country, and that is New Jersey. Back to Jersey. But the good part of it is, it pays really well, coming out of Virginia. The second thing is, it's on the west side of 95. So anytime that you get a delivery in Jersey, I got grease all over my leg for some reason or another. Anytime you get out of Jersey, or anytime you go to Jersey and you're on the other side, more towards Pennsylvania, you're good to go. It's wide open. It's a big, humongous industrial park. So I don't have to navigate, worry about low bridges and such. But I had a conversation last night with a guy at the 01. He worked for another carrier, which I'm going to leave nameless, Swift. And, you know, he asked me, we were talking for a little bit, and he asked me, he goes, why did you choose to go lease versus, you know, not a going company? And I had to really sit back and think about it for a second. Like, why did I go lease versus company? Because my intentions initially, and I think a lot of people's intentions, because you really don't know about the program, is, you know, I just wanted a job driving a truck, make decent money, go see the country. It's not until I really got my trainer's truck. He was a lease operator, and, you know, explaining, he was very transparent. That's one thing I must say. He was very transparent about what he was making per load. Some of these loads were like, oh my God, like, really? Yeah, it's 72%, but by the time you do this, do that, you know, you're not going to get that in your check. It's your gross amount. But the other weeks he grossed well over 14,000, and get it, the team, I understand. But, so I started looking at that number, and then I started realizing, why did I go lease? Why did I choose to go lease? And as time went on, he would explain the differences, and I have freedom. What do I mean by that? I don't have to worry about where to fuel. If I want to fuel, I'll fuel. I don't need someone to tell me where to fuel, or you have to fuel here. It's more of like too many ropes or too many strings attached to you on the company side. And again, these are, I don't know, I've never been on the company side, but this is what I've been told by many people. Where are you fueling and the route that you take? Now, some guys say, no, you can choose any route you want. And I've heard say, no, you can't. So I guess that's really going to fall on your dispatcher or fleet manager you get on the company side. Then it's like, okay, you can go home. What's your home time like? Well, every week you stay out, you get 1 day off. And with a maximum of 5, because if you decide to take more than time off, again, your relationship, I don't want to twist stuff, your relationship with your manager is really strong, what they call slip seating. I've heard from several different people that if you're out more than 5 days, that truck is sitting idle, and that truck probably wants that truck to move. So there's a chance when you come back on the 6th or 7th day, 8th day, say you stayed out 2 months, so that's 8 weeks, that's 8 days. There's a chance that that truck that you had before going on the home time is no longer your truck. Now, whether they still do stuff like that, I don't know, but this is what I was told way back when. So remember, your freedom, how much is your freedom worth? Because essentially, I'm being dispatched a load, and all my decisions are based on my decisions. I don't have dispatch saying you have to do this, you have to go here, you have to go there. Or you only can spend 4 or 5 days at home, even if you stay out 2 months, 2.5 months. To me, that's like a dictatorship. And at my age, I got beat up and pounded on by many different bosses throughout my sales career. I really didn't want, when I heard about this, that's what really led me to the lease side, is how scrutinized or micromanaged you are. Guys, folks, no one says anything to me. I get my load. If I don't take it, there's got to be a reason why I'm not taking it. And in between me picking it up and me dropping it off, not a word said. Not a word is being said. That's freedom. How much is that worth? To me, it's priceless. Not being told what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where are you, what are you doing? No, you lost your truck. I don't need that, not at my age. Now, I'm not saying I'm not poo-pooing company at all. Maybe as a younger person, I probably would have went company because I didn't know as much as I know now. You know, my belief in myself at 20 years old is a lot different than it is today at 57. I ran a couple of businesses. I was a manager. I was a supervisor. I had different titles throughout my career. So I knew I could manage my job. I could manage time. I always was good at time management. And so if you don't have those skill sets, especially as a younger person, then maybe a little structure isn't all that bad. Learning the freight lanes and where good, what's not bad. This way you can always transition to lease down the road. But when I heard about all those lack of freedoms and top of the money, it wasn't a question of going lease. It was a question of, do I want to do a reefer? Do I want to do flatbed? Do I want to do tanker? And the reason why I chose reefer and lease reefer is because I saw what my trainer was making, and that the potential for me to earn, whether I'm being solo or whether I decide to team, was going to be a lot more than at that time. I think it was 52 cents a mile, 51 cents a mile. I don't know what it is now. I don't even want to guess, but I'm telling you, as a lease operator, after all said and done, my worst weeks was like $1,700 That's my worst weeks. So you got to put two and two together. But at the end of the day, you've got to feel comfortable. But then you also got to ask yourself that same question: am I going to get a good fleet manager, or not? Now, I got a good fleet manager at lease. Doesn't mean there's plenty of war stories on the lease side about fleet managers and dispatches and whatever. You know, my results are going to vary from the guy next door or the guy to the left or the right. It doesn't matter. I have a great fleet manager, a good working relationship. Did I get lucky? Maybe so. Doesn't mean that you can't get the same. I mean, there's many fleet managers, and there's also some good ones. There's also some bad ones. But let's just say, at the end of the day, let's not worry about that aspect of it, because we have no control over that. What we do have control over is the direction that you want to take. Now, being that I get paid on a percentage, he said that he's getting 70 cents a mile. And his real good weeks when he runs 3,000 miles, he says roughly about $3,000. Coming home with $3,000. Now, I didn't do the math. This is what he's telling me. But you're not going to get 3,000 miles every week unless you start forging numbers. You start doing things unethical. I'm sorry. You're not going to get 3,000 miles each and every week. So at the end of the day, I made a great decision. That the reason why I chose lease, other than the money, was my freedom to run this show my way. It's either I'm going to succeed at it or I was going to fail at it, and that control is really up to me. 90%, 97% of whether you succeed or fail at lease is based on your ability to pick up the load and to drop it off. and your efficiency, time management skills, and a little trip planning. The other 3% are going to leave that maybe your fleet manager wasn't good. If you're a hard worker, you have work ethic, you go and turn down loads, and you go one load after another load, like I do. I dropped one off yesterday. I immediately went to the old one. Took a break. Continued last night. Now I'm 70 miles from the 90, which is at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And I can deliver up to 2 hours early. So you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be getting up at 3 o'clock. But no one's telling me. What's most important is no one's telling me where to fuel, how many gallons I should fuel. Now I do get fuel recommendations, and do I follow them? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I'm at, like yesterday, I paid $3.95 for a gallon of diesel in North Carolina. I looked up and down the East Coast where I was going, and that was the cheapest. They wanted me to get 60 gallons. I got 105 gallons because it's more expensive elsewhere. So I'm glad, at the end of the day, I'm glad that I went lease, that I chose correctly. And again, all results are going to vary, but there's no way that if I left Prime for whatever reason, unless I'm going to jump into becoming an owner op, because I haven't worked for another company, cents per mile. I get paid per load. That is big. I get paid per load. And if I don't think there's not enough miles for it, it's, like in this case, it's 500 miles. It's over 1,500 for my line. How do you not, that's just, the math works. So anyway, again, I'm not trying to poo-poo it. The video is based on why I went lease. And that's why I explained to him. It's just between the money and, more importantly, the freedoms. Now, he did say that he's scrutinized. Sometimes he's got to check in and say, where are you? Where are you in your route? I don't know if Prime does that or not. Maybe he's a special case because he has a habitual issue of not being on time. I don't know those circumstances. But again, I want to go home for 8 days, 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, and not have to worry that my stuff is laying in some lobby at the terminal because I took 20 days. Again, I can take 2 weeks, 3 months, as long as his lease payment is paid on a weekly basis. I can take as much time off as I want. I never get a call. I never get a message. Where's your PTA? I let him know. Listen, I'll be back on a Tuesday. He never bothers me. When I go home, I go home. So, how much is your freedom worth to you? Something you got to think about. To me, picking up a load, dropping it off, and nothing in between, nothing from my managers, no bosses, honking and hollering about where are you and how come you didn't fuel here and we're going to turn off your fuel card if you fuel there. I don't know how strict it is. Again, you have to fuel when they tell you. And again, some told me you have to take the route they want to take. Well, sometimes going 80 miles out of the way is going to be quicker because you're not climbing as many hills. So again, I did it for the freedom and I did it for the money. Actually, tomorrow after I drop this load off, I got to go back to Bidston. I got a call from security that some car hit the gate, and I'm parked like near the gate. And what they got to do is they were doing the whole gate, the curbing there. And since my car's parked there, I've got to go move it. So, security reached out to my fleet manager, and security obviously called me and wanted this done ASAP. I said, well, you're lucky I'm not in California, right? So it just so turns out that where I'm going to Wharton, New Jersey, I'm like not too far from the terminal. So we'll go back to the terminal, move my car, and then jump back on another load. I don't know what we're going to be getting this weekend. It's Sunday. Monday's a holiday. We'll find out. But Hey guys, when you choose what direction you wanna go down in any part of life, do some research, get some proof, talk to people that are on either side of the coin, and then make a decision what's best for you. You've got to answer that question. What is best for Mike? What is best for Tom? Well, what was best for Henry was to go lease because of all the stuff I just explained. Freedom to me at my point in life is I'll give probably another 5% to have the freedoms I have now. Not that I would, but just kidding, being sarcastic. The freedom I have, folks, is priceless. I mean, like I said, and I'll repeat it for the 4th time, no one's micromanaging you. Think about your jobs. Think about your careers. And then make a decision based on what is that worth to you? What is that worth to your sanity? Hey, listen, we work hard enough out here. What I mean by hard enough is that we're gone from home a long time. We're by us. Do you really need somebody to tell you what steps to take every step of the way? Again, in the beginning, it's one thing. But after several months, a year or so, I don't need my hand held. And I hope you don't either. But if you do, then go company. It's a safer way out, so to speak. There's no risk in it. That's not how I'm wired. Take a risk. I know my work ethic, and I know that I'm punctual. I'm never late, and I'm always on time. That's what punctual means. So, yeah, enough out of me. But that's a decision, again, that's on an individual basis. What's important to you is going to determine whether you're going to stay in the business or you're going to get frustrated and leave. There really isn't, folks. And I've been talking to people out there. I haven't heard one company that I would leave mine for. I just wouldn't. 65, 70 cents. No way. Think about that. What is the price of freedom worth